Okay, everybody, welcome to our Tashlich service at Fountain View, our first time we've ever done this. And obviously, because of the circumstances, we are gathering on Zoom for a Tashlich. And I just want to thank all of you for being here. And Rabbi Tomsky has prepared an introduction to what Tashlich is and what Tashlich means. So Rabbi Tomsky, please take it away.
Thank you. Well, Tashlich has a long history going back to biblical times. We want to divest ourselves of sins and transgressions and iniquities. We want to start the year clean slate, without any regrets. So we want to try to find a way to feel that cleanliness about ourselves and our own thoughts and our own way of thinking and doing. So we turn to God. We've hopefully apologized to people along the way if we made any mistakes and hurt them, but we turn to God and ask God for forgiveness now. This is what we do on Yom Kippur. And the Torah reading for Yom Kippur is about Azazel. Maybe you don't know what Azazel is or never heard about it. It's the Torah reading for Yom Kippur when the high priest takes two goats. One he uses as a sacrifice, and the other the high priest puts his hands on the goat, on the head of the goat, and he asks, and he tells the goat he's going to take all the sins of all the Israelites out into the wilderness, so that all the Israelites will be clean of sin and iniquities. And so then he chases the goat out with the caregiver out to the wilderness, and we never hear about him after that. But he takes all the sins away, hopefully. And that's where we begin the whole business of transferring the iniquities of ourselves and of our people. Goes back to the Torah reading for this Yom Kippur. We'll hear it this week, next week. But I want to tell you that there have been other examples of this practice of getting rid of our sins. Maybe some of you heard of schlagenkoporos. Yes. Schlagenkoporos. I've never seen it done, thankfully, but I know what it is. People take a chicken, hold it by the legs, and swing it over their heads, and saying that they take all the sins away, and transfer it to the chicken. Then the chicken is sacrificed and used as food. Now they don't do that. They take a handful of coins and swing it over their heads, and then they donate the coins, hopefully taking the sins with the coins and cleansing the body and the thoughts and the person from any iniquities. So we've had that kind of happening all the way through. We find in the prophets representations of this idea of cleansing ourselves from the sins and iniquities. We find it in the prophet Ezekiel, verse 3, and then we mostly we find it spelled out in the prophet of Micah. And let me quote it for you. I have it written down what we find in the Bible of the prophet Micah. It's in chapter 7, and it's verse 14. I have it written down. So here's what verse 19. I'm sorry, chapter 7 and verse 9. Here's what he says. You, referring to God, will hurl all of our sins into the depths of the sea. That's where we get the idea of throwing something into the water. And that's from the prophet of Micah. God will hurl all of our sins and iniquities into the depths of the seas. So that's why we use a body of water for Tashlich, but it goes back to the prophet of Micah a long time ago. And I want to tell you that, you see, the word in Hebrew, hate,
Okay.
The word that is generally thought of as sin is the Hebrew word hate. But that doesn't really, when we have the verses in Yom Kippur, al hate, we beat our chests, as though we are responsible, our hate shechatanu, or ashamnu, we have the words there too in the verses. But the Hebrew word doesn't really mean sin. It means missing the mark. Missing the mark, as though you are an archer shooting at a target and you miss the mark. That is to say, when we are not doing our best, that's when we sin. We miss the mark. We could do better, and we'll try to do better next time. That's the idea of chet. You have to try to do better if you're not doing what you should be doing at this time. That's the word chet. But we translate it, as you will see, oftentimes as sin. You know, the prayer book is called, the prayer book that we use for weekdays and Shabbos and festivals is called Siddur. Of course, that means the order of the prayers, of the liturgy, the order. That's the Siddur, from the word Seder. But we have on the prayer book for the high holidays is, as you know, not Siddur, but Machzor. It's from the word lachazor, to repeat, to return, and to repeat. And I can tell you that that there's a lot of repeating, a lot of repetitions in the Yom Kippur liturgy, as you will see. Yeah. Shamnu is repeated several times, and so are the other verses, some other verses. But it means missing the mark. We're not at our best, and that's when we fail. That's what we sin. We have to atone for that. So those are some of the ideas I wanted to bring up. Let me see what else I have in my notes here about the early parts of it.
Just for a short time. I wonder what.
Okay, so that's where we get the idea. But the point is that we want to try to remember to do our best at all times. And when we know sometimes, we know when we're not doing our best. We know when we think ill of somebody without knowing the background of that person's actions. We know that we're not our best when we think of somebody who's becoming a bit of a nuisance without realizing that the person has needs and has to be affirmed as a human being and be loved and accepted. We all need that. We are all vulnerable. We need to be affirmed and accepted and loved. So that's all part of the makeup who we are. We have to try to be mindful of those needs. And the Machzor speaks oftentimes of in the plural, Ashamnu, Chatanu, Al-Chet Chatanu. Those are in the plural. Now, and those, you have to look carefully at those words, what they mean. Our failings, our sins, as they are called in the Bible, our transgressions, iniquities. Look at them carefully. They're quite complete and quite uncomfortable to read. But we're not, doesn't mean that we're evil people, that we do those things ourselves personally. Doesn't mean that at all. Although we might be doing those things, and then we have to be atoned for that. But it means that we are part of society, and society has allowed for some of those things to happen. And it's happening, and we are part of society that is allowing for bad things to happen right now. We have, society has allowed in elections for people to become office holders and leaders who are really not leaders. And we've allowed that. We have allowed dangerous things to happen because of climate change. And we doesn't mean that we personally have done it, but we are part of society that has done it. We have not made standards on pollution and taken enough action. And we are paying the price for it. Look what's going on with the flooding and the fires, all that stuff. So we are responsible for that too. That's where we have sinned. We have failed. We are not at our best when we allow society to do that. And there are other areas too. Pandemic, we haven't done enough to stop the spread of pandemic. The coronavirus. People go without masks. They get together in groups, parties. So we're not, society's not doing its fair share. And we're part of society. We've allowed that to happen too. So these are the ways that we, in our own day, have failed to meet the mark. I have people. I hope people are listening on the on their computers to understand what we're saying. This is so important that we are transgressing even to this day in so many ways. We have a lot for which to ask for forgiveness. And
so Rabbi Tomsky is, thank you, Rabbi Tomsky. You are really bringing up the bigger meaning of the communal meaning of Tashlich.
Yes.
And I want us to get to people's, what they're releasing.
Sure.
And there is that communal aspect of what am I releasing that has affected society as a whole. And maybe that's complacency or being passive. And then there's also the individual of what am I releasing to be better for the best for myself. So thank you, Rabbi, for bringing up all those points. Is there anything you want to say before we get to people's individual Tashlich?
I think we've said it all. It's been a wonderful experience to, this year is different, of course, we know that, and we hope next year will be much better for us to experience the high holidays when we're not together as a congregation. But we've done the best we can. We've listened to services on the computer and other ways, and we've joined in that manner. So we're still experiencing Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and now Tashlich as well.
Yes. So I think what we're going to do, everybody, and I'm going to be sharing from YouTube. So this is my first experience, so forgive me. But I think I'll share a beautiful image of water, and then we'll call on a few people at a time to say what they're releasing and casting off. And then I'm going to change the image so that we're kind of going around the world with the water. So I'm going to share my screen. Give me a moment. One second. Let me get this up. Okay. Give me a minute. Here we go. Okay, can everybody see the waterfall?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. I'm going to make it big. Everyone can see that beautiful tropical waterfall, yes?
Yes.
Beautiful.
So this is, I believe it is somewhere in Hawaii, somewhere tropical.
Nice.
And this is our first Tashlich location, somewhere far and exotic, and a beautiful meditative picture for inner reflection. And so let's start with, since I have you up on my screen, how about Joel and Rosemary? Would you like to share first what you are in this Tashlich service? What if you had a piece of bread in your hand or a stone that you were casting out into the water? What is it that you are casting away?
Well, everything that you don't do that you should be doing. There's a lot of things that we put aside, and we should think about doing something worthwhile.
Okay,
That's the only thing right off the bat.
Okay, beautiful. Joel?
I'll pass.
Okay, and you know what? This is such a private thing. So if it's just about meditation for you, please feel comfortable to pass. Okay, Rabbi, I have you up on my screen. Rabbi Tomsky, what is your Tashlich that you are casting today?
Gosh, I really haven't thought enough about it. I've been thinking about this presentation, so I haven't thought about my own failings, what I wanted to divest myself of. I really don't know yet.
Okay, I'll come back. I'll come back to you. John, how about you, John?
What's the question?
If this is a Tashlich service and you are casting away something into this beautiful body of water, what would you be casting away?
Oh, I have a lot of things I'd be casting away. I can't get through the year without doing something wrong. So I'd be focused on all the things, or try to remember all the things that I did, and see if I could get to the point where next year I don't have as many.
Okay, thank you, John. Shirley, what are you letting go of? What is it that you're letting go of that's not serving you?
I'm amazed by it all. But I wanted to remind you, Lori, I've been here over almost 10 and a half years. And I remember in the early years, I think you'll remember too, that we had the fountain outside the dining room. And we would go outside and throw our sins into the fountain where the statue is now.
Oh my gosh.
Remember that?
I don't remember that, but thank you.
Yeah, it brought back memories of that.
Oh.
That
So
was interesting.
Is there anything you want to share, Shirley, from this year that you
I just have been throwing my sins. If I can think of them, I throw them away too.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm very thankful that you set this up for me.
You're so welcome. Paula, how about yourself, Paula?
Well, I have to unmute myself first.
No, you're unmuted. I can hear you. I never muted you.
Oh, you can hear me anyway. All
Just
right.
talk a little louder.
Okay, I'm sure that there are many things that I did that I shouldn't have, but I couldn't tell you exactly offhand what it is. But I think we all did things that we shouldn't have probably, but hopefully in a general way, I hope we get rid of the pandemic. I would like to throw that in the water.
Okay, that's a great thing to throw in the water, Paula. That's a great thing to throw. So I'm going to change screens. Let's go to a different location now.
Else, are you going to show more than that? That's it?
Hi, yeah, we're going to show more, Sophie. Oh, okay, and you're going to be next, Sophie. Sophie, you're going to be next. I'm calling on you next. Here we go. Okay, does everybody see Lake Tahoe?
Okay.
Beautiful. I was there.
So here's our next Tashlich location, our beautiful Lake Tahoe. I'm sure many of you have been there.
Clean water.
Sophie, what are you casting into the water?
I'm not throwing food for the dog, for the fishes.
Okay. She's throwing food for the
For the fishes.
Is there anything you're casting away that you're ridding yourself of? Okay, we'll come back to you. Let's hear from some of our people on the phone. How about Al Harris? Al, what would you be casting away at a Tashlich service?
Today happens to be my wife Laurie's birthday, and I would cast away anything I did to ever have hurt her in any manner.
Oh, that's so beautiful and so thoughtful. Thank you, Al, for sharing that. How about Mickey? Mickey, what are you casting into our Lake Tahoe waters?
Well, I have one thing that I cast away during this year that I'm thinking about now, and I'm glad I did it. It was a relationship with one of my stepchildren, and that's been healed, and I'm very happy for that. And I really just want to look at the water and let my thoughts go where they want.
Cast stones on
That's
the water.
beautiful. Beautiful, Mickey. Thank you. Okay. How about Jay? Jay Seidman. Jay, what would you like to let go of? Jay, can you hear me? Okay, I think Jay is just listening today. How about Debbie? Debbie Minus, is there anything you'd like to share?
I would like to share the fact that I don't really think I've done anything terrible that I can remember or that I know that I've done. However, I would like very much to toss away anything that I may have done to hurt somebody's feelings or to do anything that I should not have done that I am not aware of. So I'd like to get rid of all that stuff.
That's beautiful. I'm hearing so much of that from some people, not wanting to hurt others. Okay, is there anybody that I haven't called on yet that would like to share anything they're casting away? Bobby, what about you, Bobby?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah.
What is that?
Bobby, what would you like to cast away in our Tashlich service?
Oh, what would I like to cast away? I'd like to cast away all the unrest that's going on in this world. We could all be one. Very disturbing, all this unrest.
Thank you, Bobby. It's so beautiful, and I wish you could see this picture because it is such a beautiful, peaceful image of Lake Tahoe, Bobby, and it's just so perfect for what you just said.
Oh, yeah.
Snow-capped mountains in the background. It's beautiful.
Yes. So let's go. We're going to change locations, and then I'm going to shift the question a little bit, actually, to not what you would like to get rid of, but what would you like to have more of? And I think this will be easier for people to answer. And it's a similar question, not what we are letting go of, but what we want to harvest in our new year. Let me share our new location. And some of you mentioned this earlier. We are at Lake Balboa, a very popular spot for throwing our bread into the water. So would anyone like to share what they'd like to see more of or harvest in this coming year? Would anyone like to share?
Yes.
Joel?
What we'd like to share is when this virus goes away, we can see our great-grandchild. She just was born a month or two ago, and her sister's 2 years old. And unfortunately, because of the virus, we can't visit family and have all other children, grandchildren that we love to see. And so I'd like to see the virus go away so we can resume our visits with our own family. And we miss that very much.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Being together. We want to harvest being together with ones that we love, community with the ones that we love. Anybody else like to share what you'd like to harvest in the coming year? Paula, is there anything on your mind?
Good health.
Good health.
Less pain.
Good health, less physical pain.
Less physical pain, right.
Beautiful. Norma, hello, Norma.
Hi.
Norma, is there anything you'd like to share, either something you're casting away or that you are wanting to harvest in the coming year?
I would like to get rid of our president. Is that possible?
You know what, Norma? It's a Tashlich service, so it's your prayers, okay? It's your personal prayer out there, to put your personal prayer out there.
I would love to get my grandchildren back and give them hugs without a towel on their hip.
Oh, okay. So again, wanting to connect with family, with loved ones, be with one another. Thank you, Norma. So good to see you. Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Rabbi, did you have time to think of anything?
Yeah, well, two things. I was rude to someone in some way. I I was given a wrong phone number. I was trying to reach somebody. I was given by my caregiver a wrong phone number. And I kept dialing that wrong number, and I was irritating people, and I shouldn't have been. That the person who answered just kept telling me I'm calling the wrong number. And I didn't pay attention to that, and I kept dialing it because I thought maybe I wasn't dialing it correctly. But I was wrong, and the person was gracious and never really took me to task for it, just kept telling me that I was dialing the wrong number. So I want to atone for that I was rude and not thinking clearly, and I was not doing my best. That's for one time I was, in a sense, transgressing. I would like to see for the future. I mean, there are efforts to bring about better racial commitments in our society. There are people working at this very hard at this matter of racial inequality and hatred and bigotry, anti-Semitism. It's a plague on our society today, worldwide. And in a sense, we're part of it because we don't make enough noise to stop it. And I think we have to work harder and harvest the efforts that are being done to eradicate some of this hatred in our society. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Gotta mute me.
I'm muting you. I just muted you. Okay. John, is there anything you would like to harvest in this year? John, can you hear me?
Yeah, what'd you say?
I said, is there anything you'd like to harvest in this coming year?
Target in this coming year?
Harvest. Well, we talked about letting go of what's not serving us, but now it's what are we taking in that we want, that we need, or that we want to cultivate?
Yeah, well, I haven't given a lot of thought to it at this point, so I don't really have a good answer for it. I think if I had anything, it would be just to continue to be the best person I can be, to treat other people like I'd like to be treated, and continue to grow as an individual. I've still got a little growing to do yet.
Thank you, John. How about Shirley? What would you like to have more of in this coming year? Shirley, I think Shirley's enjoying the ocean. Shirley? Okay. Let's see. Debbie, anything you would like to cultivate in this coming year?
Well, I speak for myself now, not for the world. I would like to cultivate more tolerance in myself. I find that I'm a little bit intolerant of certain things that I have no control over, and I want to learn how to just accept it and not get upset.
Thank you for sharing that, Debbie. That's so powerful to share that. Thank you so much. And I think many of us can understand and connect with that. Thank you. Okay, Al, anything that you would like to cultivate in this year, Al?
I hope good health for everybody, and we have a peaceful year, and that we, whatever happens in the political situation, that we all accept it.
Acceptance of what is to be.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al. There is peace and acceptance, so thank you. Bobby?
Okay, compassion.
Compassion, yeah.
Compassion. Yes, I think there's so many things we need to be more compassionate about.
Yes, compassion. I've heard compassion and tolerance and acceptance, and these are all such powerful things for us, for our mental peace. Thank you, Bobby. Mickey, anything you'd like to cultivate, Mickey, in this coming year?
I just wish for peace of mind for all of us, for everybody, for peace on this earth, and And I'd like to go back to the good old days when the news wasn't so bad all the time. But I agree with whoever said she wants to get rid of the president. That's another one.
Okay, got it. So bringing back into our lives what was before, and returning to Teshuvah, returning to what we know is a comfortable place. Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anyone I didn't call on yet that would like to share what they would like to cultivate in this coming year? Sophie, do you have something you'd like to cultivate in this year?
Are we still on? Okay.
Yes, yes. Well, for myself, I will share for myself what I am letting go of is worry, just negative worrying that is anxious and not a healthy worry, and transforming that into positive cautiousness. And what I'd like to cultivate more of is self-kindness, being kind, being gentle with myself, because I know when I am gentle with myself, I will be gentle with others. So that is my what I am letting go of and what I am hoping to cultivate in this coming year. So anyone else have anything to share or say about this Tashlich service, or anything you want to say about cultivating or letting go? I think
it's been a very wonderful explanation, and I feel much better for having discussed some of the things that were on my mind that I didn't have a chance to do.
Thank you, Debbie. I'm so glad to hear that. And Tashlich is usually, we gather in person, we gather together, but it's usually a solitary exercise. So this has been so special and unique for us to all share and to open up and be together in this way. So I'm really grateful for all of you for creating this with me. And I think you enjoyed the images of the ocean, yes?
Very much so.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Isn't that great? Amazing what we can do with technology. So,
yes.
Yeah.
We have
Rabbi,
to be thankful for the technology that allows us to see each other and to view these scenes as well.
absolutely.
That looks nice.
So before we go, Rabbi, is there anything you'd like to add before we go? I think, oh, Rabbi got off the phone. So everyone, I will just leave you with this beautiful image of the ocean. And whenever you are ready to leave, you can go ahead and leave. And I'm going to leave it on just for a few minutes for silent meditation and reflection. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today.
Yeah, what are they?
I don't know.
The birds running along the sand.
It looks like birds, but I don't think it's birds.
Those are birds. Those are, I forgot, sandpipers.
Oh.
Sure, they're birds.
Come on there.
They're running ahead of the waves. Or
Yeah.
inside the waves.
So we're watching those.
Very cute. Very nice scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
You chose well.
Yeah. What is
As
it?
usual.
Thank you. So thank you, everybody. Take your time for some meditation, and I'll leave this up for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to end the program. But I thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Thank you, Lori.
Bye, Lori. Thank you very much for the.
Thank you.
We've enjoyed it.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Nicely done.
Thank you, Laurie.
Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you, Laurie, for letting me in on today's. I knew it would be a beautiful presentation. And I think you have a permanent member of Zoom now. It really was interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. All right, everybody, I'm going to end the meeting now. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Join us tomorrow for the Paradox of Kol Nidre. It's a telephone only. So join us tomorrow. Bye-bye.